Okay, welcome everybody to Coffee and Miracles with JoJo. So this one relates to my hair is having a weird day. Okay. So my I posted on Facebook yesterday because it was it yesterday? It's today the ninth. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so 2 days ago was my mom. I posted 2 days ago was my mom's 80th birthday. I haven't really spoken very much about this. Um, because it's been a really difficult 6 years with my mom's diagnosis. Um, and it's a sad thing. It's a hard thing. The reason that I share this and miracles and stories like this on my weekly show, Coffee and Miracles, is because I don't know if you've noticed it, but life is difficult. If it's like, I think it's the RAS, reticulating activating something or other. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's the thing where I never get it right. It's where if you tell your child look for red cars when you're out on a drive, you're trying to keep them occupied, they're going to see red cars everywhere because their brain is now wired for it. And so what I love to do is share miracles and inspiring stories and things like that because life is difficult enough. If you see all the difficulties in life, you're going to focus on the difficulties. But if you're looking for the joys, for the humor, the funny things, the miracles, the good things, the positive things in your life, you're going to see more of those. And it's really important at difficult times to be looking for those because there's enough stuff going on that is not fun, that is not good, that is not encouraging. So this is why I do the show. Now, one of the things that I hadn't, like I said, I hadn't really talked about this much because it's a hard thing. My mom was diagnosed a few years ago. I think it was on 3 years ago, but she's been dealing with it that my dad had started noticing about 6 years ago, and it's gotten to the point where she is now on hospice. She is in a facility. It's a wonderful facility, but that's hard. Um, and she has been rapidly declining. And so it's hard. And I live 2,000 miles away and I can't call her anymore because she can't really answer the phone. She doesn't, the last few times I talked to her, she put the phone down. She didn't know what it was for. And when I'm in person now, she doesn't really answer very much. She goes back and forth between being kind of there, present with people, and not at all staring into space, which is apparently something that is common. And so it's hard. It's hard for all of us. It's hard for me, 2,000 miles away. It's hard for my dad, who's been married to her for almost 62 years. It's hard for my family that's living nearby to see her like that. And but there are some miracles inside of things. There are some joys, there are some funny things that happen that I want to share with you because in the midst of your pain, of your discouragement, of a difficult time, there are funny things, there are joyful things, and there are miracles. So first I'm going to share with you um, there was one thing that happened that while I was there the last time. So mom that time was not really, she wasn't looking at anybody or anything. She had a few one word answers when we posed a question to her, but she really wasn't speaking. And my dad, who has the greatest sense of humor, told her, feel my face. He told her, he said, I didn't shave today. I'm fuzzy. And he said, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. My mom didn't miss a beat, wasn't looking at him, didn't smile or anything. Like she recognized he was being funny, which she has on some occasions. But what came out of her mouth was, he said, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. She said, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. My dad and I looked at each other like, oh my gosh. And a few seconds later, maybe a second later, she said, Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't Fuzzy Wuzzy. And my dad and I were just staring at each other in amazement that she would first remember that secondly, be able to say all those words together and then finish it. And it gave us such joy to know that there was some little something in there that she recognized and put pieced together. I mean, it was just incredible. So now we have the fuzzy wuzzy story. I mean, it's just, in the midst of sorrow and difficult, Alzheimer's is the worst. I mean, it's a thief. I've said this before. I think I just did a Facebook Live. It's a thief. It steals not just your memories, it steals so much from you and from your relatives. And so it's horrible. Nothing good is in Alzheimer's except there are some fun things, there are some joys, there are some miracles, even with Alzheimer's. And so I'm going to share with you one other thing, actually, two other things. So, my parents uh, were raised in a Jewish faith. They got married very, very young, and they left their faith. They were atheists. They lived their lives as atheists and raised the three of us as atheists. I never was. I don't know about my sister and my brother at any point, but I always felt I could feel something else out there. I didn't call him God. I didn't even know it was a person, an entity per se, but I felt something all my life. And I began asking people what they believed and why they believed it. Eventually, I became a Christian. Um, my brother became a Christian as well, and my sister, she is not. She is searching, and we've been having discussion about it. But I find that interesting. But what happened after this? I believe that my mom was upset with God. I really do believe she was not an atheist. I think you can't be upset with someone you don't believe exists. And she had expressed to me many times that she was about her childhood, which is very difficult childhood. And I don't, when I told my parents that I was a Christian, that was a really hard conversation. And a lot happened. But anyway, the point of this is when I was there I believe it was May, um, there is a woman who's in the facility with her. Her name is Carolyn, who uh, is or was a pastor's wife. And she had been witnessing to my mom. And she did like this we would leave her because my mom was upset when we left. She didn't understand why she had to be there or didn't want to accept why she at that time. Um, and so we would place her next to Carolyn because she was such a sweetheart. She would take her hand, she would talk to her and kind of console her as we had to leave. And so, but before I actually left, she called me over and she told me, I just wanted to tell you, she said, that I asked your mom if she would accept Jesus into her heart last night, and your mom said yes. And I about fell out. I was like crying. And my, and she said, Anne, I don't think she understood everything, but she did say yes. Come to find out later, I was talking with a relative's wife, her brother's wife, and she'd said she was talking to my mom, and my mom would tell, and she would try and pray with her, and my mom would say, I pray by myself. That's not something that somebody who really doesn't believe God exists would say. If you're an atheist, you would say, I don't do that. And that's not what she said. She said, I pray by myself, which is why, and I always felt that up till the point where I was told this, that she was not a true atheist, as my dad, I believe, was, or at least was. But she, I think, was praying. Um, and now I believe that she is saved. I believe that she accepted Jesus. I know that her mind is compromised as is with Alzheimer's, but God knows, God made her, God created her, God knows her heart and knows the way through. He understands Alzheimer's and knows the way through her thinking, her brain. to her heart. And I believe that that is the only way that my mom would have accepted Christ, is in this kind of situation. So that in itself is amazing. And but there's another part to it. So, and keep in mind, she has Alzheimer's. So she apparently they put on TV shows, and there's a church service or something that they put on Sunday morning. My dad happened to be there, and my and they were watching it, and my dad was there at the time, and he asked her, "Do you like watching this?" And she said yes. And he said, "Do you believe in God and Jesus?" And I was really surprised he added Jesus, because he came from a Jewish background. And so, and she said, "I believe for you." I, in my head, in my heart, what I'm thinking is she is trying to minister to him. She is trying to witness to him. And I don't know of any of this for absolute sure. I mean, I don't know her brain. God knows her brain. And I'm not even sure she understood all of it. But this is what I feel has been happening. And so I just wanted to share that with you, because there are some awful, awful things that happen in this, because this is not a perfect life. Fallen world, sin had entered, and God gives us all free will, and we have to choose to do things, and it's hard. All of us sin, all of it. We all do things we regret, and um, but it's difficult down here. And I think that is why it's so important for me to share with you guys, to hang on to any joys, any hope, any good things, and see the miracles that God does all around everything, because he loves us, and he sees the bigger picture, even though we can't. We are in the muck and the mire of our situation. And sometimes we cannot see why this is happening. We can't see how this is going to be good. Why in the world would this be a good thing? Alzheimer's is horrific. And I, but sometimes we do see these things. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks for joining me. Each week, and this is going to be uploaded to my Heaven and Health YouTube channel. And I am going to be adding some things to the YouTube channel, not necessarily here on Facebook, though I do a lot of Facebook Lives talking about different things. I'm going to be expanding a little bit, doing some interviews with people about miracles that they have seen, they have witnessed. I'm going to be doing some workshops and things like that upcoming about different aspects of health, maybe some Q&A type things. And I'm currently actually doing a book study. And it's this one. I don't know if you can see this because it makes it backwards, but it's Winning the War in Your Mind. Oops. Okay, it's back. You can read that. That will not be recorded, but it will be on my Zoom channel. And so if you guys anybody want to join, I'm going to be starting, I think it's the 16th. It's a Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, because I'm all about positive and encouragement and things like that. And a lot of times we have to get through a lot of stuff in here in order to be able to do that. And so you may be going through some things in life. I would imagine almost all of us are, either now just coming out of one or just going into one. Difficult time. So that might help. So if you would like to join me, leave a message below this Facebook Live, or message me, and I'll give you the details for my Zoom information, because it's just on Zoom. You just need to get the book somehow, take it out of the library or whatever, buy it, Amazon. But anyway, thanks for letting me share with you. I really pray that that encourages you in a time where I'm seeing a whole lot of people going through some difficult times.